Upstairs neighbors jacked my parking spot. So, I recently moved into a new apartment with my boyfriend. There are 2 garage spots and 1 driveway spot behind one of the garage spots. When viewing the apartment, we were told that we would have the garage spot with parking behind it. We live in the 2-bedroom downstairs, and I'm pretty sure the upstairs is 1 bedroom. Upon move-in, the upstairs neighbor told us that I would have to park on the street. I didn't care to make a thing out of it, so I complied. But now I got a parking ticket for a snowban. I texted our property manager just to double check, because if we are supposed to have that spot, I want it now. Turns out we should have it. How do I address this with the upstairs neighbor? I am pretty mad and super anxious about it. I just have no clue what to say. Update. First of all, I did not expect this post to get so many comments, and thank you for all of the advice. I am all for sticking up for myself if I know I'm in the right. However, there is nothing in writing about which spots belongs to who, and this property manager is not great at expressing herself. They also never specifically told us that we had the good garage spot. I assumed we did because when we viewed the property, the old tenant said that we would have it. The old tenant also was in a hurry to get out and needed to find a renter because she was breaking the lease. After a lengthy, confusing conversation with the property manager, she finally got the point across that if we can fit a car behind our garage spot and everyone can still get in and out of the driveway, it's fair game. So with that being said, we are going to do our best to squeeze in. Talk to your landlord. Tell them what your upstairs neighbor told you, and that you believe that there might be a miscommunication. Let your landlord talk to them. Get the property manager to handle it. Ask them if they will talk to them about it. Property manager should handle it. You need to speak with the landlord. This is his problem to deal with, not yours. Talk to your landlord and get documentation that it's your spot. I've had this happen before. Landlord made it clear to the parking spot jacker. They kept doing it after fair warning. Their car got towed. They never did it again. That's what a property manager is for. I wouldn't communicate with the neighbors about it anymore. Let them handle it. Our rent covers these 2 spots. You'll have to use the spot that was originally assigned to your apartment. You knock on their door and tell him to move their cars? It's your property. If he has a problem, tell him to call the manager. Really? First, you just start parking in your spot that you pay for. Tell him exactly what happened. You checked with the property manager, and it is your spot. Please don't park there anymore. If he does, you contact the property manager. If they won't tow him, you do. What is with people these days not being able to stand up for themselves over the simplest of issues? Call and have their car towed. I lived in an apartment where spots were clearly marked, and we'd have people park in my spot all the time. I'd tow their car, even if they were visiting somebody downstairs or across the hall. Even if they came out while it was getting towed offering to take it away, I'd still tow it. The sign was right in front of the parking. Go to the manger and let them work it out for you. Take emotion out of it. Don't apologize, as you've already had to pay for a ticket. Don't get angry either, 'cause it doesn't help solve the issue moving forward. Let the upstairs neighbor know that from this day on they will need to find parking on the street, as it has been confirmed that you actually are the owner of both parking spots. Apologize for the inconvenience, 'cause it's polite and not because you mean it. Don't overstay your conversation. If they have an issue, they need to take it up with the landlord. I'm gonna go against the popular advice here and say you should talk to your neighbor yourself first. I'm of the opinion that it's always a better idea to at least try to hash this stuff out person to person and only get an authority involved when you're at an impasse. Going immediately to the landlord kind of feels like tattling to me. It's a bit spineless and will probably cause more animosity than a grown-up conversation between the two of you. I once had someone in our apartment building call the landlord and complain that we were playing music too loud. I would have happily apologized and turned it down if they had the decency to come and knock on my door and ask. But the fact that they were too much of a coward to address it themselves and instead ran crying to management really made me lose all respect for them. It also made me less inclined to keep the music quieter from that point on, just out of spite. Sorry. That's how I roll. Now, of course, if you address this with them and they continue to be obstinate, absolutely go over their head and contact the landlord to sort it out. But you'll respect yourself so much more if you make an attempt to handle it yourself first. Let the landlord or property manager handle it. And get the confirmation of the parking spot in writing from them. I'm betting your upstairs neighbor might ignore it anyway. You've been bamboozled. Just have the manager take care of, and I would start parking in the garage when they aren't there. And not budget car and start using public transportation. Yes, I'm that petty and I'm an ass. So take my advice lightly. You shouldn't address it, the property manager should. Have the PM send an email or letter to them saying what their parking spots are and what yours are. Honestly, I'd knock on his door. Tell him to get out of your spot and call him a dishonest asshole. But that's just me. Or I'd have him towed. Sounds like you already spoke with them and they won't understand you till you tow their car. You don't address it. You tell the landlord. And let the landlord address it. They're her tenants.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.